Cougar Sports Saturday.
It's complete. Another touchdown!
Cougar Sports Saturday. A presentation of KSL Sports.
Left wing for three. He got it again!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Here are your hosts, Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
BYU and Utah. We're getting ready for a rivalry game of basketball. First, it's kind of crazy to think about this, but it's been over 10 years since they played as conference members. Last time they were conference members of the Mountain West, BYU won that game, and now they're conference members now in the Big 12. And we have Jake Toolson, who has played in this game, knows this game well. He's going to break it down with us here in Cougar Sports Saturday. Your last rivalry game was 2019, or was it 2020? Actually, I think you played, right?
We played in 2019, but it was that 2019-2020 year. I think we played them in like November. It was right. It was before Maui, so it had to have been November. No, just kidding. It was after Maui because Yoli played.
That was Yoli's first game back.
It was December. Yeah, it was Yoli's first game back, and he got cramps.
Did you get hurt in that game? I feel like
he started getting cramps, so like he didn't play down the stretch.
But did you roll your ankle on that game? I'm trying to remember.
I did not. No.
That was a different game.
And it was just a weird game overtime.
That game, I'll never forget that game because Utah shot 14 more free throws, and I asked Pope afterwards what he thought about the officiating, and he was like, "This is the best crew, the bravest, most courageous," which it was really funny. But what do you remember about that game and that environment?
Man, I just remember how frustrating it was losing a game like that. I think we were up 10 with like 6 minutes left. Yo goes down, TJ fouls out, and I think we kind of just ran out of gas. It was like 105 to 98. Like it was a super fast, high scoring game. But the environment, to be honest, when the game started, like it was empty. There was nobody there. And then it started to get loud, and second half game was close, and oh gosh, I try to just flush that one. I don't really care to revisit that at all.
We were talking with Trevin Nell after the Oklahoma State game. He was because he was on the roster that year, which is it's sort of crazy to think about, but he brought up that game and just talked about how this game, regardless of the record, there's still just a lot of emotion behind this game. And BYU basketball, I feel like for the last 10 years, Jake, has been a better program, but yet they still struggle at the Huntsman Center. Why do you think the Huntsman Center is a hard place to play?
Because it's just all that red is just so hard to look at, like just ugly environment. No, I'm kidding. I think honestly, because the rivalry is like just so big, and whether that's football, basketball, like it's everything BYU versus Utah, like, and for the majority of these kids on the team, or guys who have no clue about the rivalry, once they step foot on campus, they know like BYU Utah, it's a rivalry, and this game just is different. And like you can't just say every game's the same, like we'll treat it just like any other game. Like going up to the Huntsman, playing there, playing against Utah, it just feels bigger, feels different. Like I remember last year I was super not frustrated, but I almost predicted, like, just seeing how BYU had looked in the first few games of the season versus how we looked in Utah. We just looked tight. We looked almost like scared to be aggressive, scared to make plays. And the rivalry has everything to do with that. It's because it changes the way, or it doesn't have to, but it can almost change the way that you approach it, because you're like trying not to make mistakes because you want to win so bad. And you're doing things out of character. You're not being as aggressive. You're not, being who you are as a player or as a team. And that's when you can get yourself into trouble because it just feels a little bit different.
Talking about Jake Toolson, you were at the game, the Oklahoma State game. They had a huge lead. It got whittled down. They pushed it back out. What were your reactions to that game and where this team is at right now? Because I feel like they have played in such few big games. It is kind of hard to get a sense of exactly where this team is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think they do a good job of responding, whether it's a run. I think Oklahoma State came out of the second half on a little bit of a run. BYU responded. But yeah, as far as opportunities to play in big games, I think BYU should welcome those and be excited about those opportunities. I think non-conference, we were playing teams that we were beaten by 40 and 50. So didn't really have those opportunities to really execute, to see, different situations and things like that. And obviously now that we're in Big 12 play, like we're going to have an opportunity every night. There's no easy wins in conference play. So I think BYU, with its veteran leadership, has kind of shown that they have, they've shown us flashes of what they can be. Now I just think it's about putting it all together and being consistent. And we'll have, I don't know, we'll have as many opportunities here in conference play for us to find out who we really are.
You're a guard, and I don't know if you probably didn't play point guard at BYU, but you can handle the ball. You and TJ and even Barcelo, there was many players on the teams you played with, Jake, that could handle the basketball. And I look at Yegor and Dallin and their ability to play together. How difficult is it to be sharing the basketball with multiple point guards? I'm talking Yegor and Dallin here, but how do they find their way in that regard of kind of splitting those duties?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of it just kind of depends on matchups. A lot of it depends on the way that other teams are guarding. Obviously, Yegor is very effective with the ball in his hands, has a little bit more of an advantage, seeing over the defense, being able to, attack pick and rolls, read the tag man, hit the guy, hit the shooter that's, that his guy is helping off or hit the roll man like you've seen many times. And Dallin's shown the ability to get downhill, finish at the rim, find guys in the same capacity. So, and even Dawson Baker is great with the ball in his hands, playing him in pick and roll. He does a great job of kind of getting his guy in jail, keeping him on his back and playing 2-on-1 downhill. So I think it's just about being aggressive. It's about, not trying to overthink it too much. Okay, Yegor just came off a ball screen on this possession. Now it's Dallin's turn. Like, it doesn't have to be equitable. It's just got to be everyone being aggressive, everyone playing downhill, and fighting for the best shot possible. Because, Yegor's shown that he's able to space the floor, knock down a shot. Dallin has shown the same thing. You want to be able to maximize their playmaking abilities, but you also don't want to, put them in situations where they might be, kind of you can stagger them in a way where you can get the most out of two really good playmakers.
What's impressed you about Richie this year? He's taken on a different role, playing a little bit more guard than forward. What's stuck out to you from his performance?
I mean, he's just never stops. Like he plays every possession so hard, seems to get his hand on every ball, deflections, loose balls, rebounds, like block shots. Like, he just makes winning plays. Feel like, when he's open, every time he gets that quick shot off, I feel like it's going in. When others shoot, he's crashing the glass, somehow getting an offensive rebound over a 6'10" dude and, finding his way in to, just kind of scoop it in with his left hand, or he's got such great touch around the rim, good feel for kind of that junk game, just being able to, have those push shots, floaters, things like that. And just attacking closeouts, being aggressive. So it's really tough because you got a guy that can knock down the three and get his shot off really quick. But if you kind of close out too aggressively, he's going to attack that closeout, play downhill, get to the rim, get to the free throw line, or find an open teammate. So I think really good things happen with Richie. With Richie on the floor, I don't know the numbers plus minus or, some of the advanced stats, but I'd probably feel pretty good about saying that good things happen when Richie's on the floor. And I think you need to find a way to keep him on the floor as long as possible.
Has it surprised you? I don't want to say struggles because they're still 11-5, right? And a lot of their close losses, as Kevin Young's pointed out, has come down to one or two plays at the end of the game, whether it be a turnover or a missed shot. But has it surprised you that with the talent that this team has, that they're still trying to figure themselves out?
It's so hard. I recognize the talent. I recognize, on paper, this BYU team, who they have, and I guess can see the potential just like everyone else. But if you think about it, this is a brand new staff, brand new team. I mean, obviously we've got some guys that played there last year, but it's a whole new system, whole new, offense, defense, maybe even the way they communicate, the way that they're, implementing some of KY's new concepts. So it's great that they're 11-5. It's hard to win, wherever you are, but I think the expectations were pretty high coming in, just because of, we got a great recruit in Yegor and Cannon, and then, the transfer portal got a couple of guys, and it's so easy as fans to see that and be like, oh, well, we should be, that's guaranteed that we're going to be better than everyone else because our players are better, or they had higher rankings coming out of the portal or high school. But it's hard to win. It's hard to really, go out there on game day, execute, because you're playing against guys that want to win too. So you don't take that for granted. It hasn't really surprised me. I think it would be concerning if, one led to another and it kind of had a compounding effect. But from what I've seen, BYU's always responded in a positive way, which is what you want to see when you have a team that's new head coach, new system. You don't want to see, one turn into two and two turn into three. You want to be able to kind of turn the page, learn from it, and kind of grow from some of the early struggles that we've seen from them so far.
What impressed you the most about their win against Oklahoma State? I don't think anyone views Oklahoma State as a Big 12 contender, but what impressed you in that performance?
I think just their competitive spirit. It's easy to come home after a TCU game where, you could have won and would have been a great road win. And all you think about, man, what does this mean down the road? Does this mean that we don't have a chance? Like, all those thoughts go through your head. The coach's job is to keep you in the present, to keep you, kind of focused on what's right in front of you, because you can't go back and change anything. And you also can't, sit here at the end of February or early March and be like, okay, are we going to be in, whatever their goals are. You just have to focus on the present. And so whatever happened at TCU, it would have been easy to be like, dang, like, we blew that one. We had our chance. Would have been such a great road win for us. And they come home, and they got another team that's hungry, that wants to win, that has a new head coach that's in the Big 12 that wants to, kind of prove his identity and kind of make his stamp on the Big 12. And you just saw them come out and compete, and you saw kind of some chippiness. I don't know. Trev got teed up for some reason. I saw Dallin, being really aggressive. Yegor kind of just, being aggressive. I like to see that because, it shows that they're not quitting. They're not giving up. And that, they're in the right, they're thinking about the right things.
Last thing for you, Jake. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. tonight at the Hudson Center. BYU and Utah, first time in over a decade. They'll be playing as conference foes. What are some keys for BYU to get a win and to get this first one as Big 12 opponents?
I think the biggest key is just going to be playing with confidence, playing free, playing loose. Like, obviously it's hard because it's Utah. You see, that on the jersey, the history, the rivalry, but we as basketball players, you grow up playing basketball. You've been in every situation. Trying to just treat it as normal as possible. I don't want to see anyone that's tight, that's overthinking, maybe second guessing. Like, just play with complete confidence and swagger, and just check the ball up and let the best team win. I think BYU has a good chance of kind of redeeming themselves for years past, and winning in a tough environment, and obviously an awesome rivalry that has a lot kind of riding on it.
Are you picking them then, BYU, to get the win on the road?
Of course, I'm picking BYU. I'm not sure if I want to watch it from home or actually be there.
Tickets are still cheap. You can get in for cheap.
I bet. I'll hit up Nate Austin, see what he's got for me. But I'm picking BYU. I think it's a great spot for them. I think they're going to play with a lot of confidence, a lot of aggressiveness. I think they're going to be able to change up defenses a little bit and kind of confuse Utah. They're going to come prepared. And like KY said, these games come down to one or two plays. Like, I think BYU's gonna prove that they can make those plays, those key plays down the stretch to ultimately get them a win, and it'll be great.
I know I said last question, but let me squeeze in one more.
Yeah.
If it does come down to one possession, Jake, who should the go-to guy be in a need a bucket situation?
That's a good question. It depends on like time and score. If it's tied and we have the last possession,
you got 15-second clock. You're tied up. You call a timeout.
Yeah.
You're running a play out of the break. What are you running? Who's getting it?
Well, we saw this last year when BYU had this exact opportunity, and
at Utah. You're talking about, right?
Yeah, at Utah. Yep. We tried to run. I think
thought it was a high pick and roll with Dallin, wasn't it?
No. It was like some pitch to big Ali
Khalifa. Yep.
A handoff back to Dallin, and he drove kind of the sideline, and it was supposed to be a hammer screen on the weak side for, I think, Spencer Johnson or maybe Richie, but Dallin got downhill, and either I think he dribbled it off his foot or just got pushed out of bounds, and there was no call, and we turned it over. So I definitely don't want to see a turnover. It's hard in these late game situations. You want to eliminate as many variables as you can. Like, I didn't love that you have to execute that play so perfectly for it to go right. There was too many variables. It's like, okay, well, Ali has to get a catch. That's number one. And then the handoff has to be clean with Dallin, and you can't have a moving screen. And then Dallin has to get downhill, and you're assuming that they get confused on the weak side and that he's going to be open. But if he's not, then Dallin picks up his dribble and he has nowhere to go, and he steps out of. It's like,
Right.
I just want either Dallin or Yegor, or whoever, maybe even, Dawson Baker. I want shooters on the floor spaced. I want Dallin or Yegor one-on-one, maybe even start them in the backcourt, get them going downhill as fast as they can, shoot the ball, looking for a shot, get the shot off at like 5 seconds so you have an opportunity to offensive rebound, put it back in. They could get fouled, go to the free throw line, or force Utah to help, and then trust in your smart playmakers like Dallin or Yegor to see that where the help's coming from, and then just have Trev, have Cannon, have shooters spaced so that they can't help, and if they do, make the right play and just let it fly. So I like just one-on-one, getting downhill. Don't bring a ball screener. Don't try and, get a trap involved. Don't let them switch defenses. Don't let them, eliminate as many variables as you can, and just get the ball in your playmakers' hands. Let them get downhill. Be aggressive. Look for your shot. Try to get fouled. And if not, force them to send a second defender and then kick it out and find the open shot.
Let's hope it doesn't come down to that, right, Jake?
Yeah. I hope not, but I think I don't know.
I like your thinking though. Keep it simple.
I think, history. I don't remember the last time. Maybe it was the year before. I think I went back to BYU. They played at the Delta Center. I think BYU just boat raced them.
Yes. Yep. Yoli had a monster game in that one.
Yeah, I think that was in that crazy dunk that
right.
that people remember. I think that was the last time it was like kind of a blowout. So these games are traditionally close, and it's going to come down to execution. So BYU should prepare for that. I'm excited to see kind of what our game plan is and what we bring. Tomorrow at 7. What is this game on? This game's on ESPN Plus, huh?
Can you believe that? ESPN Plus. What is happening with all the ESPN Plus games?
I do have an ESPN Plus account, so I won't be mad. I'll obviously be able to watch it, but like, does the Big 12, does ESPN not understand what this rivalry is?
I don't know. And it's to your point, we've had such great finishes the last couple of years. This is a made for TV event, and it's stuck behind a streaming paywall. It's kind of tough.
Streaming paywall where half the time it's buffering, or half the time, it's just waiting at some random screensaver. You don't even know what's going on in the game.
I don't get it. But all the more reason maybe to get to that game. Still tickets available.
Yeah, so. Potentially. Yeah. It'll be man, I just want to just beat the piss out of them. So we'll see.
Well said. I think you probably echo the thought of most BYU fans there.
Yeah.
Jake, you're the man. Thanks for the time as always. And hey, if you make it up there, let us know and we'll hang out.
Okay, man. Sounds good.